Remember when I made a second TGIF video because people kept requesting it?
Stay tuned for a whole new season of TGIF.
Let's go back.
Tamagotchi,
of Y2K.
Welcome back to Friday, March 15th, 1996. Life is good because it's spring break and you have a belly full of roasted chicken from Kenny Rogers Roasters. It's 2 minutes to 8 p.m. and you and your family gather around the television for a very different kind of lineup of ABC's TGIF. At 8 p.m. is Family Matters, 8:30 is Muppets Tonight, 9 p.m. is Aliens in the Family, and the lineup ends with Step by Step at 9:30. This is by no means the best TGIF lineup, so you're probably wondering why I chose this night of all nights. It started when someone sent me clips from Aliens in the Family and I had no memory of the show. I do remember many networks trying to push sitcoms about aliens back in the 90s though. The only one that really caught on in that decade was Third Rock from the Sun. I was gonna do a video on this obscure show that has seemingly been lost to time, but then I found out it premiered on TGIF. It seemed like a perfect opportunity to do my second TGIF episode, and this time we're watching them all! Without further ado, grab your can of Surge and enjoy TGIF with me from March 15th, 1996.
Hey, there's no better way to spend Friday night than watching TGIF with your family.
First up at 8 o'clock is Family Matters. Family Matters was a show I didn't watch as a kid. I only caught episodes and reruns here and there. I do remember thinking though that the TV show Dinosaurs was a blatant ripoff of Family Matters' characters and dynamic. The only difference would be the baby acting as a stand-in for Urkel. They both sold that sweet, sweet merchandise and had their own catchphrases. Also, there was an uncanny resemblance between the two grandmothers on both shows. Anyway, this particular episode opens with Steve Urkel and the crowd goes insane. Remember when audience used to do that on sitcoms? Reacting to the first appearance of every single cast member? See what I mean? Urkel has a new invention for Carl to try out. It's a chair that has its own popcorn and drink dispenser in it. Surely nothing could go wrong. Okay, I'm a bit disappointed here. This was a perfect opportunity for Urkel to give us a "Did I do that?" But nothing. Later, Laura comes home.
Hey everybody.
She received a letter from Harvard and the family wonders if she got accepted.
I got accepted.
Eddie, Urkel, and Waldo are out playing basketball, and Eddie does his best impression of Vince McMahon's walk. By the way, fun fact, this guy right here is Eddie's real-life brother. The more you know. Anyway, Waldo's out there playing like crap and flops harder than LeBron James in the finals, and it cost them the game. Eddie is all like, "Hey, if you don't get any better, you can't play with us," showing all of us that true friendship is skill-based. Carl goes to see a loan officer regarding Laura's tuition for Harvard. He says he needs $20,000 every year for the next 4 years. Only $20,000 a year to attend Harvard? Boy, have the times changed. Today, you can't even photocopy your ass within Harvard's walls without it costing $20,000. Carl finds out he doesn't have enough collateral.
Well, how about if I put up Harriet?
Turns out he makes too little to receive the loan, but too much money to receive financial aid. Ah, the American dream. Back at home, Urkel's dancing to polka music while dressed like a Little Tikes toy car. Then Eddie starts doing a dance that can only be described as a fat kid finding out he can have a second slice of cake. Then Waldo shows up.
Come on in, it's open!
No, it's not. It's closed.
Waldo explains he's been taking tap dancing lessons after his aunt told him it would help him with his coordination on the basketball court. Whoa, hang on, this sounds very familiar. Only 3 episodes earlier was about Eddie taking ballet classes to get better at basketball. Come on, Family Matters writers, that's just lazy. Get your shit together. Waldo shows Eddie and Urkel what he learned in the last 2 weeks, and apparently he's a master tap dancer now. So, they go and play basketball. Did I miss an episode explaining this, by the way? Urkel is apparently an incredible basketball player. The Urkel I know and love would never be able to hit a deep 3 like that. Hashtag not my Urkel. Look, it's little Richie. I forgot he was in this show. It's the classic case of a sitcom adding a child to the cast when it's nearing the end of its run. What does he have to say?
Thanks, Rich.
Oh, apparently nothing important. Carl tells Harriet they can't afford to send Laura to Harvard. Laura overhears the conversation from the kitchen. Damn it, Family Matters, this was supposed to be a funny video. Now you got me experiencing feelings and stuff. Laura comes in and tells her parents she doesn't want to go to Harvard because it's too far from them, and she isn't ready to move away from home.
But honey, Going to Harvard meant the world to you.
Yeah, it did. But then I realized my world is right here.
You know what? I think Vin Diesel would have loved this episode.
You don't turn your back on family.
The episode ends with Waldo teaching the guys how to tap dance, and then Carl comes in and shows off his moves. If there's anything we learn from this episode, it's that bad dancing runs in the Winslow family. This episode was alright. I enjoyed revisiting the show, so I definitely watched it through nostalgic eyes. The basketball tap dancing plot felt like filler for the real story the writers were trying to tell in this episode about Laura and Harvard. But, oh well.
What's up, what's up? The night's not over, there's more TGIF coming your way.
Next up is Muppets Tonight at 8:30. Muppets can really be 50-50 for many people. I lean on the side of liking the Muppets. I've enjoyed all the Muppet films I've seen, and a few of the Muppet Show episodes I've caught. This has a bit of a Muppet Show vibe to it, in that it's basically supposed to be like a late-night talk show / variety show. This episode opens with Rizzo preparing for the show tonight with Garth Brooks, and we meet Bill, and he has quite the act.
Bubbles come out of my head, see? Like it?
Then this guy shows up, who's apparently the host of the show. I had no idea who he was, so I had to look him up, and he's Clifford the Catfish. Turns out he's the host of this show because Jim Henson requested that after he died that Kermit no longer host any Muppet shows. I don't know, I'm getting some real racial undertones on Clifford the Catfish. Anyway, Garth Brooks shows up and he has a great idea.
We do Garth Brooks stuff on everybody else's show. But you guys, what do you say let's do something different?
Really? Like what?
Clifford starts the show and introduces Garth Brooks, but instead of doing one of his own songs, he decides he wants to do Romeo and Juliet with Miss Piggy, and it turns into a real disaster.
No.
Muppets Tonight then turns to sketch comedy, and I use comedy lightly. Listen, like I said, I like the Muppets, but these sketches were just not hitting. The first sketch is of a veterinarian named Dr. Phil Van Neuter, and he has a Frankenstein sidekick. He tells odd stories about animals. This one was about a turkey named Taylor who loves Thanksgiving, and that's it. Then there's a game show called Swift Wits, and if you lose, Carl will eat a cute little puppy named Buffy. Back to the main story, Kermit tells Clifford that Garth Brooks has agreed to do a song, but when he gets on stage, he starts singing as Tom Jones. The head of the network shows up and tells Clifford if he doesn't get Garth Brooks to do a country song, he will yank the show off the air. More sketches come, one about the oldest and fattest family called the Tubmans, and it doesn't even have the energy of an SNL sketch that airs after Weekend Update. Then there's Pigs in Space, and the only notable thing about this sketch is this puppet, who I'm pretty sure is just a testicle. I mean, look at him. If that isn't a testicle, I don't know what is. And I should know, I have 3 of them.
Well, that was an astounding waste of time.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Clifford goes to speak with Garth Brooks, but he's way ahead of him and says he's gonna go out there and sing a song with a fiddle, out in the country and with chickens. Clifford's happy about it, but it turns out he just wants to do Fiddler on the Roof.
You said he was going to do a country song.
Yeah, but he didn't say what country.
Then we see the 2 old Muppets doing their best impression of me watching this show.
I'd buy the network and cancel this show!
Skipping to the end because I can't take it anymore, Garth Brooks finally agrees to go out there and do one of his songs, and by the end he's singing with all the Muppets. Muppets Tonight was not good. The main story with Garth Brooks was fine, but the sketches were rough to watch. They somehow did 2 seasons of the show, but was cancelled by ABC after only 10 episodes in, only to be picked up by the Disney Channel later. Let's move on. Next up is the reason I made this video, Aliens in the Family at 9 o'clock.
I require more comedy, therefore TGIF must continue now.
Aliens in the Family is another Henson production, and looking at the schedule it seems that this show replaced Hanging with Mr. Cooper. This show was a lot to take in, and I don't mean just the concept. They try and squeeze so much into this 22-minute pilot, it jumps all over the place. I'm gonna apologize now for the bad quality video compared to the other shows, but it was the only decent copy I could find. So, without further ado, let's watch Aliens in the Family. The show opens with an animated intro doing a quick explanation of the concept. Apparently an alien abducted a guy from Earth, then they fell in love, got married, and had kids. Now the mother looks like this, and the father looks like this, yet they had some kids that look like this. The first scene is of the mother alien bringing the new nanny to meet the baby she'll be taking care of. Turns out this is the baby.
State your mission. I am Bobot, the displeased.
Kind of a stereotypical alien accent. More racial undertones from the Henson productions, I see. We then meet Big Brother Alien and Big Sister Human as they fight over the toaster. Turns out the Big Brother Alien didn't want to use the toaster, he wanted to eat it. That's comedy. By the way, his name is Spitz. The nanny struggles with the baby because the baby's a little pain in the ass. Actually, he's very much like Baby Sinclair from Dinosaurs, which was also a Jim Henson production, except better. The father reminds his wife that Bobut, that's the baby's name, has a playdate today with the boss's new baby. The playdate seems to be going well, and the mother reveals her real name to the boss's wife.
And you can call me Cookie. It's short for...
Oh, that's nice. She shares her name with Elon Musk's son. Bobut locks the baby in the closet and uses this green laser thing he has to brainwash the boss into giving his father a promotion. Then we see the boss talking like this.
Silence, expendable drone. I must promote Brody. Now.
And then the father gets the promotion. I'd like to mention that this is exactly the pacing of the show. I'm not jumping all over the place. I'm trying to stay as linear to the episode as I can. If you thought we didn't have enough plot to keep up with, well, now the alien daughter and the human boy come back from school with their pet frog. But the pet frog jumps into Bobut's chocolate pudding and immediately dies. Then the older sister and alien brother start arguing over the phone. Look, he's doing silly faces. More classic comedy. The alien girl and her human brother try to figure out what they should do about their frog situation. They go to ask their dad for help, but he's way too busy with work these days to deal with frivolous things like his children. They go out into the garage where there is apparently a science laboratory. The alien girl says she can bring the frog back to life, which she does, and he jumps straight through the window. If you're counting, that's 2 Frankenstein references tonight. What's that? You want some more plot? But we're more than halfway through the episode. Well, alright, you asked for it. One of the perks of the father's promotion is becoming a member of the country club. The oldest sister thinks this is her best way to get in with the cool kids. The nanny now has a broken arm, and we see the mother can vacuum using her mouth. Well, now we know why the father fell in love with her. Here's where the mother drops some more exposition on us and explains that Bobut is a high supreme something or other and will grow up to be the emperor and rule everything. Back at work, the father's boss promotes him again because he's still under Bobut's mind control. Then we see the giant frog and he eats a mailman. Then the father brings home flowers for the mother, who eats them. She gets pissed off when the father explains he'll be busy all weekend and doesn't have time to go to the zoo with the family. The father goes upstairs and holds little Bobut in his arms, and this is supposed to be a nice, touching moment, but I mean, look at this. He's holding an egg-headed baby alien. It's kind of hard to connect with. Back to the frog, and he eats a plane. I swear I got whiplash from watching the show. The nanny finally finds some common ground with Bobut, as it turns out he's fascinated by her doing patty cake. Looks like she didn't really need that arm sling after all. Family goes to the country club, and the popular girl has the hots for the alien brother.
He's very sexy.
I mean, who wouldn't have the hots from? Look at that face. No, seriously, look at it. I had to, so you do too. The popular girl wants the sister to convince him to dance with her. She does. They dance, and he spins her so hard she flies across the room, and that apparently wraps up that part of the story. Then the giant frog attacks the country club, but it cuts away right to the end. Damn, these writers really know how to implement a good payoff. The episode ends with the family sitting in the living room and the father tries to do a speech about lessons learned or blah blah blah. This scene was the only scene that made me laugh. The absurdity of this show, and then they try to force a lesson speech at the end? What are you talking about? Stop! I can understand why this show didn't last. It was pulled from the air after 2 weeks with the last 6 episodes they filmed airing in the summer. Getting a television show on the air is a long process, and seemingly throughout the entire process, aliens and the family kept getting the green light. At least we get to wash this weird taste out of our mouth before going to bed with Step by Step at 9:30.
Cody, what's next on your TGIF chowdown?
Don't tell me. Wisconsin cheese?
Not just any cheese. Cheese in a can. Yeah. To our favorite ABC show, Step by Step. Bottoms up.
Step by Step is another blended family show in the vein of the Brady Bunch, but more for the modern time. Well, the modern times of the 90s at least. Just like Family Matters, it was a show I didn't watch when it was on the air, but saw in reruns later in life. It isn't a bad show, to be honest. I've always enjoyed the episodes I've seen. This particular episode opens with the boys of the family sitting down for breakfast when Rich shows up. He hands out letters to everyone and explains they're chain letters. You need to send them to 20 people or you'll get bad luck. If you do send them out, you'll be rewarded with good luck, just like Rich has been experiencing.
To me, yesterday, I mail my letters. I go home, Turn on the TV. Boom. We have the Playboy channel.
No one believes in the chain letters, but as Frank bites into his bacon, he chips a tooth. Dana, Karen, and Alicia show up to a winter lodge for some snowboarding, but mostly to gawk at the guys. Like a sitcom miracle, 3 handsome gentlemen walk into the lodge and lock eyes with the girls. Turns out the guy in the middle is a prince of a country named Calderon. He tells his bodyguard, this guy, and his secretary of protocol, this guy, that he doesn't want anyone to know he is a prince because he wants someone to like him for who he is and not his royal title. They plan to act as 3 average fun-loving guys.
And we're 3 average fun-loving guys.
Back at home, Carol wants the guys to try out samples of a new shampoo she got. Rich shows up again and it seems his luck has continued.
Today in the mail, I received a free tube of Super Polygrip.
However, the family isn't having the same luck. The TV breaks, they begin accidentally headbutting one another, Mark's computer crashes, and Carol breaks a nail. We head back to the lodge and the girls are getting cozy with the guys. The bodyguard turns out to be a big idiot.
Your eyes are like really close together.
Alicia returns from the bathroom and says she's heard the girls talking in there about a prince visiting the lodge this weekend. The girls immediately figure out it's the guys they're with, but the prince tells them that his bodyguard is actually the prince, so that he can continue his ruse as just a regular guy. Later we see Karen pretending to be sick, but really she's just jealous of her sister. Alicia tells her sister off with this mic drop.
Okay, let's see. He's sweet, honest, fun-loving, decent guy, and you are a shallow, stuck-up snob. Yeah, I agree. He's not right for you.
Brendan comes home and runs into Rich and tells him he sent out 20 chain letters and on the way home he found $100. Rich reads the newspaper that the shampoo Carol gave everyone has been recalled because there's something wrong with it. Carol comes down the stairs and then she removes the towel from her head.
What's the matter? Why are you staring at my hair?
Frank comes running down the stairs and his hair is orange too, and then JT, and finally Mark. Karen is back in her room still being a little bitch when the prince shows up at her door. He brought her a rose and some soup to help her feel better. She admits to him she was faking being sick and that she was upset that he wasn't the prince and apologizes for being a jerk. Dana and the bodyguard come in and start acting and speaking royal because she thinks she's with a real prince and has gone straight to her head. Then she becomes snotty and says this.
And you, Phil, you of all people should know to bow in the presence of your prince.
Dana, he really doesn't have to bow to me.
Of course he does. He is a peasant and you are royalty.
Will the real Slim Prince please stand up? He finally admits to being a real prince and now Dana is upset, but she gets over it when she touches the bodyguard's muscles. Karen and the prince kiss and they make little royal babies, a spin-off coming this fall to ABC. I enjoyed this episode, even though the Secret Prince storyline has been overdone. Also, I feel Karen didn't really learn her lesson and got what she wanted in the first place. But in my opinion, it was the best episode of the 4 tonight. Well, there you have it. TGIF from March 15th, 1996. I hope you enjoyed this TGIF video as much as you did the first one, but I doubt it. Usually the sequels don't live up to the hype. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And thank you for helping the channel reach 300 subscribers. It may be small, but it's nice to know that there's some people out there who like my stupid jokes that I thought I only laugh at. Thanks for watching. Bye.